Alright, this is OSCE metacomp 7.2 test number 1. First we're going to start by analyzing the cervical spine for a C5 PRS. So is it okay if I undo the top of your gown here?
Yes.
Just let that head fall right into my hand. C7, C6, C5. So to get the P, we would do flexion extension here, and we would notice that C5 does not open on C6, and that would give us the P portion of our listing. For the R, we would go ahead and rotate. So we're do left rotation and right rotation. And upon rotation, the C5 spinous process would rotate more to the right. And then lateral flexion to the left, lateral flexion to the right. The spinous of C5 would go more to the right upon lateral flexion, that would give us the wedge, which would be on the same side, so it's a PRS. Is it okay if I open the bottom of your gown here?
Yes.
So next we're going to do for an L3PLI. So first we would locate the PSIS, and then we go right directly to the S2 tubercle, come up to the L5 spinous process, the L4 spinous process, and the L3 spinous process. So can you just go ahead and put your arms across your shoulders there and give yourself a big hug? And I'm going to reach around you, is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
So first I'm going to flex you forward and backwards. And in flexion extension here, we would be getting the P of our listing with the spinous processes of L3 and L2 not opening up. And then we're going to go rotation. I'm going to rotate you toward me, please. And away from me. And the spinous process there is going to go more to the left at L3 to give us the PL. And then lateral flexion. And flex to the left and flex to the right. And here the spinous process of L3 is going to go more to the right, giving us the open wedge on the right. So that would give us the PLI. So the open wedge is on the opposite side of the spinous process there. And actually I'm going to keep this gown open for just a second here. So for a right ilium PIEX, we're going to start with visualization and inspection of the right ilium. And then we'd move on to palpating for edema. So we'd start by palpating just above the PSIS and just medial to the PSIS. That's where we would expect to find the edema for a PIEX, so just above and just medial. And then we'd move on to try to find our side of fixation here. So I'm going to have you just bend forward for me, please. And we would expect, okay, you can come back up. And we would expect the PSIs to go up at the same time, but if the right side's fixated, it's not going to move up. And we'll move on to sitting axial rotation. So PSIs, S2 tubercle. Can you give yourself a big hug, please? I'm going to reach around you and rotate you towards me. And upon rotation, the PSIs, the right PSIs and the S2 tubercle should separate. But in a fixated joint, they're not going to separate. And then last, we would do the seated lateral flexion. So can you flex to your right for me, please? Good. And back to the middle, and flex to your left. And we would expect the PSIs to remain level, but in the fixated joint there, that would not, right joint would not be moving. And then I'm going to have you stand up for me, please. I'm just going to tie your gown real quick. Is it okay if I bring the back of my hands right up the back of your thighs to the bottom of your glutes?
Yes.
Alright, so we would start here and go just up till we meet the bottom of the glute. And for a PI we would expect that right side to be lower. And then I'm gonna have you lay down on the table face down for me, please. And we would check for the ilium width. So for that EX, we're gonna expect that right ilium to be higher or narrower because that PSIS has came up. And then the last thing that we're gonna do is a prone leg check. And we would expect that right leg to be drawn short for that PI.